Hello and welcome to CNN News 18. This is Kamalika Sengupta. We have with us a very special guest, an officer who has served the forces for more than 40 years, an officer with most decorated titles with his name. We have with us today the Eastern Commander, Lieutenant General Rana Pratap Kalita, and we are very honored to have him with us in CNN News 18. Sir, welcome to CNN News 18 and thanks a lot for giving us time amidst your busy schedule, because 31st is your last day, sir.
Thank you for inviting me as a guest.
Sir, the very first question is that how do you compare the infrastructure development of India and China? You have been in that command, which is one of the most talked about command for strategic reason.
Yes, if you look at the Eastern Theatre, the infrastructure development in the Eastern Theatre had taken some time, primarily because of the challenges of terrain and the weather conditions that are prevalent in the entire Eastern Theatre. And if you look at non-borders in the states of Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh, the infrastructure development has taken place quite a lot in last about 10-15 years.
So we started late, sir?
But it's still, the PLA is slightly ahead of us because they started early and we started late. And particularly in some specific areas which were not connected earlier. So it will take some time to catch up with the adversary. But I'm sure the way the focus is being given on the development of infrastructure by the government as well as all the agencies that are involved, in years to come, I'm sure we'll be able to meet the requirement that is there of the requisite infrastructure development.
Then we'll go ahead of China?
It is not a question of, race between the two countries, but whatever is required for our own movement of troops or logistics, we'll be able to meet all these requirements.
Sir, in last 10 years, as you pointed out, Arunachal has changed, people say, Sikkim has changed, specifically the road to Tawang. If you can elaborate, sir.
Yeah, definitely all across there has been focus not only on development of road, like when you talk about road to Tawang, you are aware that the tunnel at N18V has already been commissioned. The Sela tunnel is also nearing construction, that is completion, that is going to ensure or give us all-weather connectivity even during the winter months to Tawang.
It's going to get inaugurated?
Yes, it is likely to be inaugurated shortly. So all these are taking place. It is not only in terms of road infrastructure, it is also in terms of your data connectivity, your mobile connectivity, the construction of helipads and the ALGs, which we say. So all these multifarious developmental activities are taking place all across Arunachal as well as Sikkim.
So it's absolute a change.
Yes, of course. And also you are aware of the Vibrant Village program,
yes,
which has been driven by the which is being driven by the central government, of course with the support of the state government, as also armed forces and the CAPF who are deployed there. All the stakeholders are involved in it to give a push to this Vibrant Village program.
So right now, how many vibrant villages are yet to come up? We have Kibithu, we have Zimithang.
There are certain, the total overall is about more than 500 that has been identified.
So, with this development and, you have taken charge, obviously post Dokulam era. How do you see the situation in Arunachal? In your tenure, there has not been much problems like we had in Dokulam. There were like some few. How do you see the situation in Arunachal now?
Situation in Arunachal with all these infrastructure development that is taking place in both sides, plus also presence of troops on both sides close to the LAC, the situation is though stable and we have been able to resolve any sort of differences through dialogue and through existing border protocols. But I would say that overall the situation is stable, but it still remains unpredictable.
So why are you saying unpredictable?
Because as long as the border issue is not resolved between the two countries, any sort of differences or any sort of minor scuffle or minor incident happening has the potential of escalation. So that is why I have said that it's unpredictable.
Standby mode. So a lot of developments in Arunachal, definitely. If you come to the other state, which is a much talked about state this year, that's Manipur. Sir, still Manipur is not coming back to normalcy. Why? You have travelled. Forces have done a lot in Manipur. It's because of the forces things were holding in me. Why do you think that's still the problem? When will it be normal?
Yeah, Manipur, there are a lot of factors involved as far as the instability in Manipur is concerned. Firstly, there are, that there are three tribes which basically inhabit Manipur, the Kukis, the Nagas and the Meiteis. So there has been some historical issues, some legacy issues, which are there between these three tribes as to who came there first and who were the original inhabitants and who came in later point of time. And there are also allegations of expansion of areas by some tribes and various restrictions that are placed on particularly Meiteis, because the valley people, they cannot buy properties in the hillside, whereas the vice versa is allowed. So those sort of issues, then the ST for the Meiteis, that has been an issue. So all these issues combined together, I think, led up to the violence that broke out on 3rd of May. Initially, you are aware that it escalated in Churachandpur, More and Imphal, and with the timely induction and proactive action taken by the armed forces, Assam Rifle, with help from the police and the CAPF, we were able to manage the situation. There were close to about 35,000 displaced people who were moved to safety by us, including the Assam Rifle and the CAPF. And then thereafter our focus has been to control the violence parameter so that it doesn't escalate. But the problem remains of availability of weapons with both the communities, whether they were stolen from the armories or it came from Myanmar. There are different quantities which are ascribed, but that remains a problem. I think in a civilized, in a democratic setup, in a civilized society, there is no place for any weapon, because if the availability of weapon is there, any minor incident can also escalate into a violent sort of incident. So that remains a challenge, as also the current instability in Myanmar and those fightings which are going on close to the Indo-Myanmar border between the Myanmar army and the opposing forces there. They are also creating, refugee situation in Mizoram and Manipur. So the influx of these people, though some of them are going back, some of them decide to stay back. So because of this cross movement of people, the inimical elements are also using these for gun running, for contraband and narcotic smuggling. So all these are also some way contributing towards the instability in Manipur.
So the Myanmar effect is there in Manipur?
It is there to some extent, yes, definitely it is there. And this next thing is both the communities which are involved in conflict. I feel that they need to sit down together across the table and discuss and deliberate and find a way ahead. I think that will probably lead to the permanent solution. I am conscious that a lot of efforts are being made by the central government and the state government and various agencies which are operating in that area to promote dialogue between both the communities.
Sir, women have been a very important force in Manipur. We have seen they have been agitating against the forces also from time immemorial. How do you see the role of Mira Paibis in this conflict?
They have been, traditionally the Mira Paibis, the women, occupy a large space in the society there in Manipur. and they have been doing the role of some sort of a moral policing in Manipur. That's been their traditional role, and they have got very strong organizations. I also had the opportunity of talking to some of the Mirapai leadership during my visit to Manipur, and to understand their viewpoint. Initially, they had opposed activities or operations that were being conducted by us, the armed forces, including the Assam Rifle. But later, when we explained our mandate and our aim of conducting these operations, gradually they understood the issues, and then thereafter they stopped obstructing us. Definitely, they have a huge role to play, I would say, in giving correct advice to the youth so that they don't go astray and they don't take up arms and go into a wrong side of the society, and they become responsible citizens. I think that's the role I would recommend Mirapai to.
Yeah, but at times they were like stopping the forces.
Yes, I know. Initially they were, but when they understood the mandate that was given to us and why we are operating in a particular manner, then thereafter they stopped obstructing us.
Sir, if you could elaborate in what's happening in Myanmar, and you have already pointed out the Manipur effect in Mizoram. How do you foresee this? What's coming in?
Myanmar, the basic thing
and a lot of insurgents go and hide out there. Our insurgents.
Traditionally, our insurgent groups from Manipur as well as Nagaland and Assam, ULFA plus NSCN, KYA from Nagaland, even some group of splinter group of NSCN, IM is also having a camp across in Myanmar, as also the Manipur militant groups have also got camps in Myanmar. So they had been operating from those camps, coming into India and carrying out their operation or extortion or things like that, and then going back. The recent operation conflict between the Myanmar army and the PDF and the other EAGs in Myanmar has also impacted some of these camps. So I am told that they were forced to vacate some of these camps which they were occupying. So it is definitely going to make, if the fighting continues the way it is in the areas close to the Indo-Myanmar border inside Myanmar, it is going to impact the camps which are established by these militant groups. So I think it is time that we have already taken an initiative, and the state government along with the central government had signed the ceasefire agreement with the UNLFP, and I believe some more talks are going on to motivate the other groups also to get into some sort of a dialogue and thereafter get into a ceasefire agreement.
Because otherwise that insurgents pressure will, they will all come this side, and that would, and the talks is on. So this is a long border, and how will the command strengthen that? Work has already started in your tenure.
Yes, the border is long over, and it's over difficult terrain, mostly jungle and hilly terrain. So the infrastructure is not available in most of the areas. So Honorable Home Minister had already approved construction of border fence along the Indo-Myanmar border. It has been divided into various phases because of the time which is required, and the work has already started. The aim is to construct fence all along the Indo-Myanmar border in various.
In Manipur also work has started.
Manipur also it has started.
Stalled for the present conflict.
No, it is not. It is going on. It is going on. It has not stopped. So the whole border is going to be fenced, and alongside the fencing, the road communication will also come up, and that is going to facilitate functioning of the security forces in stopping influx of people, as also smuggling of guns and the narcotics.
Sir, you have said about the insurgents group of Myanmar, the camps which are there, who actually go and hide out there, the insurgents of this. We are having talks with Alpha, and 29th, they're going to also sign the agreement. How do you see to that?
I think that's a quite positive development, because the Pro-Talk Alpha group, which had come overground long time back, the final agreement was not taking place because the discussions were going on, and any sort of final resolution of this problem with the signing of some sort of an agreement between Alpha and the government is a very, very welcome step. But alongside that, it is also important to involve and engage the Alpha Independent, which is led by Paresh Barua, which are still in Myanmar in various camps. I think it is equally important for us to engage and try and get them over as well for talks.
That's very important. Sir, we have seen suddenly the Sikkim incident, the natural disaster, nature's fury, and it affected the Eastern Command. Do you think that climate should also be a part of the military aspects now? It's high time.
Yeah, the climatic conditions and the weather patterns are definitely an important, should I say, ingredient in our military planning process. However, such type of natural disasters cannot be predicted. So, this particular glacial outburst in Sikkim had damaged a lot of infrastructure, armed forces as well as the civilian infrastructure were damaged, and we also suffered a lot of loss of equipments and men as well, apart from loss of civilians and all.
Yeah, and the damnation problem.
But then that's part of the process, and I think we need to continue to consider the climatic changes that are taking place in our planning process.
So, definite unit should come up.
Whichever man, we have certain specialists who are aware of all these things, and it's not an armed forces duty alone. That's what I think. It's a completely whole of a nation approach which should be taken as far as these climatic issues are concerned.
Sir, another interesting question, which is obviously 31st is your last. So, what next? What are your future plans?
You are aware of the challenges that are there for the Eastern Army Commander because of the extent of non-borders as well as the counter-insurgency operations in states in Manipur, which we have already talked about. So far I have not had time to think what is to be done after 31st. The only thing I have decided is I am going to go back to my home state, that's Assam, and settle down there. And Rangya is my hometown, but I am going to settle down in Guwahati. That's where I am going to be after 31st. And thereafter, I need some time to resolve certain personal issues and all. And then I am ready to be able to work for social causes. I think that's the aim. What exactly, in what form I am going to do, that I have not yet decided.
Sir, you have given so many years for the nation, more than 40 years for the nation. So definitely there we have seen officers, we have seen people going to politics, and obviously there will be an offer that's doing the rounds, sir, in all the blocks in Delhi and also in Eastern Command. So if there is an offer, would you like to work for the people?
It is too early for me to say anything. I have to think about what exactly I want to do post-retirement and what would give me more satisfaction. Like I said, I am willing to work for the society, for the development of the society. So in what form, that I am going to take some time to decide.
I know, but the 2024 elections is there. So if there is an offer, then what would be your reaction?
It's too early for me to say anything on this issue.
But definitely you will be working for. And what's your message for the Eastern Commander who will be coming and your soldiers in Eastern Command?
No, Eastern Command, my successor is a very, very competent and professional soldier, and he has a huge experience of having operated here as in Eastern Command. And I wish them all the best, and I am sure under his leadership the Eastern Command will continue to flourish and will fulfill the mandate of securing the borders as well as maintaining peace in the hinterland.
So
my best wishes will always remain with them.
With them. So this was the Army commander who is retiring on 31st, and definitely he has not said what he is going to do, but he has given all best wishes for the Eastern Command, and he has said that he is going to continue and do work for the society, social work. Now this, where does this social work goes? Do we see him in a different role or not? That time will say, but definitely a very good tenure for Eastern Commander, handling all the challenges and also handling the most strategic command in India.